If you're tuning in now, this is the Product Owner Perspective. We're here with Robbin Schuurman and we're discussing all things Product Owner. If you're very interested in what we're discussing in these few minutes, and please also look up the podcast, the audio podcast, where we are having a much deeper dive into stuff than we're doing for the video this time. In these next 5-6 minutes, we're really gonna grab one topic and hope to add value to your product ownership. Robbin is a trainer, coach and author for Prowareness at the moment. He's currently working on a book together with colleague Willem Vermaak, working title 50 Shades of Nay, about stakeholder management and the difficulties product owners encounter in saying no, because as we all know, when we are dealing with a lot of people that want stuff from us and our teams that we're working with, we have to manage the inflow of work, otherwise teams get overloaded. And as Henrik Nieberg says in this movie, it doesn't help jamming more paper into an already jammed printer, it will just blow up. So this is vital information on the topic of stakeholder management. So the book you're writing has 50 tips, and I would like to invite you to share one of the most important tips or the most actionable tip that people can already apply immediately after watching this video.
Yeah, so indeed I'm writing a book with Willem, and it's really about stakeholder management with the title 50 Shades of No. And what we've experienced is that saying no is really difficult for a lot of product owners, so we decided to write a book on it. As a product owner, your main responsibility is to maximize value. And in order to maximize the value of the product, we believe that there's one thing that's really important, and that is stakeholder management. And although, of course, you have to do something with backlog management and estimating value and all that kind of stuff, I think it really comes down to managing your stakeholders well. And one of the most important things as a product owner in order to maximize that value is saying no. Because from all the 10 ideas that you get, there's probably one that's really valuable, and there's 9 that's, of course, all right, but it's not the most valuable thing to do. So saying no is really important. And what we think are some of the most important things to start off with is to really know who your stakeholders are. And of course, that's obvious, but we see a lot of product owners who are doing a lot of stakeholder management. But if you really ask them who are your stakeholders and on which stakeholders are you spending your time, then it always appears that they, or in most cases appears, that they spend a lot of time on the least important stakeholders. So one of the most important things I believe is to really know your stakeholders. And one of the tools we're discussing in the book is the Stakeholder Map. And to really help the readers of the book to find out which people should be in which quadrant of the Stakeholder Map. And to also define some groups, for example, in that Stakeholder Map, and to find out what are their needs, what are the channels that best fit to deliver messages to them, but also to really think about how much time should I spend on which type of stakeholder. So then we come back to the topic of saying no, which is very important, especially to the stakeholders who don't matter so much. And there are a lot of different ways of saying no. So one of the categories we've defined is the crisp and clear no. So it's really clear, it's really obvious, it's pretty short, and it's a way of saying no to those less important people or less important stakeholders. And an example of such a way of saying no is no, it doesn't fit within the product vision. And it's just really short. But if you have a real clear picture of what your vision is, then it will be very easy to also say no to those stakeholders who have a lot of wishes, which don't necessarily deliver a lot of value or add a lot of value to your vision, for example.
Yeah.
And another way of saying no is, for example, to take the perspective of your customers and users. And for example, we got a lot of questions from sales about optimizing the declaration process in that self-service solution. And although they were very good ideas, our main focus and main objective at that point of time was to really get in more users. And we had a very clear vision and we thought it was going to be a very valuable product. But there were so few users of that product that we didn't know if we were really adding value. And so the shade of no we used at that time was, well, we understand that this is a valuable feature for you, but we're not going to build it since we just need more customers and users first before actually investing more money into the product.
Yeah. The next thing I want to unpack is the crisp and clear now refers to the vision. Mm-hmm. So this implies that the product owner has already a crisp and clear vision defined, so he can use that to, or she, to say no. So what tips can you give, or do you have, is it also mentioned in one of your own blogs, how to come to a good vision, or should people attend a training then?
Well, yeah, actually it is. I've written a series of blogs. Yes. And as we discussed, I'm doing a lot of professional Scrum product owner trainings as well. Yes. And in those trainings, there are different blocks of content we're discussing. For example, vision, for example, value, stakeholder management, that kind of topics. Mm-hmm. And so I've written a blog series of different blogs, all including 10 tips on a specific topic. Yeah. So there are 10 tips, for example, on the Scrum framework, there are 10 tips on stakeholder management, 10 tips on product backlog management, 10 tips on vision. And so there are different tools and formats as well. Also those blogs and the formats you can find on scrum.nl. Yeah. So that would be a good starting point, I guess. Yeah.
Let me check something, because actually why we do Scrum, and one of the major things we do in Scrum is maximizing value by making the right choices and doing the stuff that is very valuable first, and stuff that's less valuable, at least at that point in time, later, or maybe not. So that's part of saying no. But if we go a bit meta here, actually what you describe in your stakeholder map example, and also in your interaction with sales, is that to maximize value, to be able to say no, you also have to, in a sense, say no to a lot of stuff in the process. So not just say no to stakeholders or people that want stuff from you, but also know that you first have to put some energy in getting that good vision and working on that. And then from there, so until that point, saying no to maybe doing a stakeholder map or story mapping workshop, which we didn't mention yet, but I'm throwing it out there anyway. So I think that's an interesting concept to realize, that actually it's not just about the product and that you say no to make good choices for the product, but also in the way you approach your product ownership. Does that resonate with you? Is it, am I talking sense here? Yeah. Okay, so so your book is not just for making better products, but also for making better people who happen to be product owners. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I really like that. I really like that. Okay, so we'll make sure to put all the links in the video notes, and we'll make sure to also link your blogs and speaking engagement, your LinkedIn profile, stuff like that.
Cool.